Yes, the new president indeed has said that he would let the private sector to lead the economy rather than having the government at the helm. That is to say that he's going to resort to market policies instead of regulatory policies, and he has a tendency to deregulate the economy. However, we don't really see this as a kind of a specific policy orientation. It is pretty broad. And as a matter of fact, market-led approaches will not resolve all the issues. They are not panacea. And as a matter of fact, Korea is facing a lot of other problems like worsening inflation, rising interest rate, weakening won. And of course, there are other problems like the existential threat, from, for example, the oil problems that they are facing, the rising cost of energy, and also the youth unemployment issue. And I think, the top priority for the new government is going to be, how to revitalize, for example, the small to medium-sized companies. And one of the topics that the new president has been thinking about is to restore, for example, the sales volume or the sales value to the pre-pandemic period. That of the small to medium-sized companies, and of course, I think there will be much more effort devoted to developing or strengthening South Korea's position as a science and technology power. And in addition to that, there will be a lot more other things, like the transition team delivered to him 110 tasks for him to perform. And of course, economic issues are going to be on top of his agenda.
Yeah. So like you mentioned, Mr. Lee, South Korea facing a number of economic challenges right now. Inflation, when it comes to youth employment, trade, of course. South Korea is a major trading nation, but there's a lot of geopolitical uncertainties, as well as SMEs. But we also know South Korea's new president won the election by the narrowest margin on record. So how do you see President Yoon really pushing forth the country's economic recovery in such a polarized society?
This is really an issue. I think, the new president himself has already identified, like a decaying job market, widening rich and poor gap as a kind of what he called a democratic crisis, and also the cause of internal strife and discord. And of course, he is going to take measures to resolve those problems or to heal the divide. One of the things, he mentioned is that he's going to spur economic growth to heal the political divide. He's actually facing, some kind of distrust actually from the public, after he won the election. His approval rate, is just about 41%, which is even lower than the 45% of the outgoing president. And if you look at the how the general public is expecting him to do, only 60% of the public, is expecting him. He's doing well, in his 5-year tenure, while all the predecessors, they enjoy about 80 to 90%. That is really a problem. I think he need to really do something to convince the general public and win the support. But technically he is also facing other problems like possible impasse that he's going to face in the National Assembly, which his party only hold 106 seats versus the opposition party's 172 seats.
Yeah.
So he's actually facing a lot of challenges, ahead.
And Mr. Li, what does President Yoon's election mean for China-South Korea economic ties?
I think the President Yoon has already stated that he's willing and he's ready to develop the economic and trade relations with China further, and that I think is in the interest of South Korea. Even in face of the current situation, but also in a longer term. Both in terms of bilateral relations, also the regional economic cooperation, because this is the key issue that he's going to resolve. So maintaining a good and developing, healthy and mature economic relations are vital and key, to South Korea's development and also regional economic stability and growth.
Okay.
Back to you.